everybody, and it is wonderful to see you all. This is Lunch with Lisa, and welcome back. A lot of you keep coming back over and over again to see me, and I just honestly cannot thank you enough for doing that. It really touches my heart. I hear from many of you that you watch all of my lives, or that you listen to the podcasts, or that you're coming on the Getting Inside the Right Male Mind, which I do a Facebook Live, and then we also publish that as a podcast. And that is every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. So thank you all for supporting me. And please know, if you ever have an idea for a topic that you would like for me to discuss, on a Facebook Live, or that you would like me to build a podcast section around, please message me. My email is lisa@lisashield.com. And many of my best suggestions come from you. So please write to me. Feel free, lisa@lisashield.com. And we would love to do a segment on whatever subject you would like me to talk about. All right. So in the moment, I'm just making them up. Whatever occurs to me, I do many phone calls each week. I talk to so many single, beautiful, successful women who have never had true love in their adult lives. Maybe they've experienced it. It was ephemeral. They had it and then they weren't able to sustain it for one reason or another. But I talk to women all day long, all week long, about what it's like to be a fabulous woman who has so many of the pieces of the puzzle of her life sorted out, except this one, except a truly loving, devoted partner to share her life with. So those are the women I help. Successful women who, are where they want to be, or or happy and stable in their careers, and they have great friends. Maybe they have a wonderful family. They have great kids, but the one thing that's missing is this one, true love. So those are my ideal clients. And if that sounds like you, hey, I can help you get this solved. Just go to lisashield.com and watch my free 45-minute presentation. And if you like what you hear, we can jump on a call. You may get me or a member of my team. We can show you how my methods have helped thousands of other women find true love, find what I call a guardian of their soul. All right. So today's subject is about something that I just feel is the kiss of death for a woman to hear. And I'm asking you honestly, has a man ever told you that he doesn't feel he can make you happy? Have you ever heard that from a man you were dating or you were in love with? That he doesn't feel like he can make you happy? So I want you to take this at face value. When a man is in love with you, all he wants is to make you happy. You can take that at face value. It is true. Many women don't believe it because they've been hurt by men in the past, but it really is true. Maybe you feel like you were with a man that you loved and he said he loved you and you felt disappointed by him. But I'm telling you, men will miss the mark. They will get it wrong. They will, get drunk and fall asleep and, forget to call you, or they may space out on a date, they said, hey, let's get together on the weekend. And then time goes by and they just space it and forget. They will let you down because that's human nature to forget things. But I'm telling you, he says that he doesn't feel like he can make you happy. He's telling you that he feels like you don't appreciate his efforts, right? That you are not showing him in some way that he's making you happy. And I know from a lot of women that when a man says this to them, their knee-jerk reaction is just to say, well, no, you make me happy. But there's a but, but it was just that time, or, if you would just do these things, but yes, you make me happy. The problem is that the man can feel your dissatisfaction. He can feel, see a little look in your eyes that you weren't happy, like he didn't get it right, or he could have somehow done better. Your tone of voice, if he surprises you and you don't get excited, maybe he wants to take you out to dinner and he, or makes reservations at one restaurant and you really wanted to go to a different restaurant, and he can see that somehow you're disappointed, it wasn't good enough. Or you throw little hints at him that it wasn't what you wanted, right? I'm not telling you to behave in a way that's fake. If a guy does let you down, or if he does disappoint you somehow, or if, he does something and it's not what you were wanting, maybe he buys you some jewelry or he does something, or gives you a gift and it's, you have a different preference. I'm not telling you to be fake. But if that happens, you want to get very excited about the gesture, right? You want to be very excited. If you want a guy to keep doing things for you, to keep wanting to please you and make you happy and, and show up, you've got to show him that you're excited about the things he does, even if they're not exactly what you want. And it is very delicate if you don't show enthusiasm, because a man will feel like he failed. And if he feels like he failed, he's going to feel shame. It's emasculating for a man when he wants to, do something exciting to make you happy, and then you're not excited about it, or you tell him how he could have done a better job. I used to do this all the time with men because I really was difficult to please. And the truth is, I still am hard to please. Not that I'm not excited about things or that I don't get excited, but I have high standards and I'm very specific about my likes and dislikes. My husband knows this about me. And, he goes out of his way to do nice things for me, but he's also very smart about this. And he knows, like, he's tried to buy me clothes or he's tried to do certain things and it just didn't work. So, I do eventually let him know my preferences, but I get very excited about the gesture. So if my husband, like in the past, he went away and he was in Italy on teaching abroad. And I don't know if it was Italy, but I know he brought me back some clothes. And they weren't really, I think one or two of the things he brought back were to my taste, but some things weren't. And I never really wore them, but I was so excited about the fact that he did it. It didn't matter. Like, I didn't get disappointed. I have plenty of great clothes. And, I didn't sit there and go, well, he could have just bought me, some jewelry, or why did he get clothes or whatever. I looked at the clothes and I was just so happy that he thought of me. And because I was so appreciative of the gesture, later I was able to say, once it was over, and later on, maybe a week later, a couple of weeks later, I said, babe, I'm so excited when you buy me gifts, and I love that you're thinking about me. And, I think it's difficult to really pick clothes for somebody, and especially if we can't return them. I so love that you went out of your way and you were thinking of me, and I know how much love you put into that. And I just think that, if I can't return something and I know it was expensive, it might be better that we just have a wonderful dinner when you get back, something that we can celebrate together, you and I. So you find a diplomatic way to say, hey, I love the gesture and it was the sweetest thing in the world. And, this is what I would really love. right? So you just have to understand that in that moment when he's giving you the gift, it would be crushing if he went out, if like my husband, he is so thoughtful and he goes out of his way to do loving things for me. If I just stepped on that loving gesture, I think it would shame him. He would feel like, oh, I should have done better, or I let her down. And do we need to be careful with a man's feelings? I think we have to be thoughtful with everybody's feelings. I feel like we need to be kind in the way that we say things and think about how it's going to land. And if we want our partner to keep doing lovely gestures, romantic gestures, we have to think about how we receive those things and how we give feedback when we don't like something. So yes, I do think it's very important to be thoughtful about the way you handle those situations. I had a friend once, a client who I love her to pieces. And she was dating a guy who on Valentine's Day gave her some lingerie, but it was from Victoria's Secret. And she's a La Perla girl. There's nothing wrong with loving La Perla. It's a beautiful, beautiful, elegant, line of, women's lingerie, and good for you for appreciating La Perla lingerie. What happened though was that she wasn't excited when he gave her the lingerie. And as she was telling the story, I was thinking about her poor boyfriend, who in those days, this was a little while ago, probably didn't just buy it from the Victoria's Secret catalog or get it online. He may have very well gone into a Victoria's Secret store and picked this out for her. He probably, in my mind, he talked to a saleswoman and he probably felt really like, ooh, here I am in Victoria's Secret. How many guys will walk into a Victoria's Secret and buy lingerie for their girlfriend? This could have been going on in his mind. And he had the sales girl help him pick it out. I'm sure a lot of guys do this. And then he gave it to her on Valentine's Day. He was picturing her in it, wearing it, a romantic evening. He knows that she loves lingerie. And, she opens it up and he can clearly see that she's not happy, that she doesn't like it. And how crushing that could be to a really sweet guy who went out of his way to do this for his girlfriend, and I knew the guy that she was dating. If he knew that she liked La Perla, that was her favorite label, he probably would have gotten her La Perla. He may not have known the difference. And I'm sure, she said he was so hurt by the fact that she didn't like it. And it's really hard to come back from something like that. I know we can all say, well, we can be mature and she made a mistake and whatever. But if you think about it, he took a risk and it was emasculating to him in that moment. He didn't feel like a man. He didn't feel like her hero. Right? Like he gets her taste. He bought her something beautiful that made her happy. He probably had a very different scenario playing out in his mind, and it was probably very hurtful to him. I remember when my husband and I, now this is, not the way I would have behaved in the past, but this is the result of a lot of self-work and maturity. When my husband and I got married, we had bought a house a year earlier, and I know he was working his butt off to be able to, help pay for the repairs we were doing. We had to do a lot of work on the house to make it our own. And Benjamin was really working so hard to, overtime and stretching himself. And we got married, and I think, he paid for the wedding dinner, And he paid for the honeymoon on top of everything else he was doing. I just think about this in my heart. Like, when I think about that time and, where we were financially and all, I mean, we lived well and we were doing fine, but Benjamin was really stretched to the limits to be able to make all of this happen. And we had thought about going away to this great place. This was like 20 years ago, to this great place on the Mexican Riviera. And this was before, Tulum and that whole area had taken off. And there were some really beautiful, unique resorts along the Riviera. One of them I remember you had to take a boat to, and it was like walk up a path. It was candlelit, and, they all had these exotic names. And we were planning on going to one of those for our honeymoon. And Benjamin, who never wants to make a promise that he can't deliver on, just said, I don't think we can go to Mexico right now. And so instead I said, well, what do you feel comfortable doing? And we wound up going to Big Sur, to a place called Ventana. Ventana is a very well-known resort, and definitely, was the top resort, especially at that time. They've redone it now, and I think they ruined it with the remodel. But at the time, it was considered, a top place to go in Northern California. But for me, traveling anywhere in the U.S. was, a step down. I loved to go abroad. I wanted to go to exotic countries when I traveled. I didn't want to travel right here at home. And not only that, we were going to be traveling to someplace. We were driving there, and we were staying, and it was in our own state. We weren't even going to another state. That didn't seem very exotic to me for a honeymoon. But, this was what Benjamin could do at the time. And I made it okay. I just made it okay. And instead of looking at what a disappointment it was, I decided that this is what we can do, and I'm going to love every second of it. And I am going to be happy. I mean, this is what my husband can afford to give me right now. And this is good. This is enough. This is okay. And we got to Ventana, and I walked in and I was like, oh God, we're paying this much a night for this. It looked to me like, I'm not a big fan of California style. And I just, I saw our cabin or our room that we were staying in, and I thought, and my heart sank, and it was just so not what I wanted. But I had a really quick conversation with myself, and I said, Lisa, this is your honeymoon. This is what the man you love, the man you're going to spend the rest of your life with, this is what he's able to do right now. Enjoy yourself. Look for reasons to love this place. Find ways to just, love being with him. See this experience through his eyes, because he loves Big Sur. It's one of his favorite places on the planet. And so I just went with it. I made a choice in that moment to love that, my honeymoon, to see Big Sur through my husband's eyes. And the truth was, we had 3 of the most magical days I could have ever hoped for. Seriously, the most wonderful time. And Benjamin took me all over. And I just, loved every second of being, Mrs. Shield for the first time. And we ate at some lovely restaurants. And anyway, it was wonderful, just wonderful. In fact, at the end, when we called the bellman to get our bags, and, he said, come lay down on the bed with me. And we were having such a wonderful time. He wrapped me in, we spooned on the bed. He held me really tight, and we just lay there like holding each other and trying to just, enjoy every last moment of that honeymoon until we heard the knock at the door and we had to leave. But it really was magical. And it was a decision that I made to be in the moment and to enjoy myself and to have a wonderful time. And and just not focus on what was disappointing about it, and just make a decision to enjoy the moment. And I think I've done that a lot in our relationship. It's, I'm not I don't just see the glasses half full all the time. That's not me. I sometimes do see the glasses half empty, or there are moments where I have to check myself, take a deep breath, and pivot and just talk to myself and like I did on the honeymoon. But I know there were a lot of men in my past who didn't feel they could make me happy. And the truth was they couldn't. They couldn't make me happy. You want to know why? Because I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy, right? And a happy person chooses to be happy. They can face disappointment. They can, have things not go the way they want them to go. Look, I'm going to be 60 in less than 2 weeks. I think August 28th. So it's the 16th. In a few days, I'm going to turn 60. And my husband planned a dream vacation for my 60th birthday. We were going to spend 17 days in Spain and Portugal. And I'm saying this aloud, and my heart is like, oh. We were flying class, every meal, all Michelin rated, going to be spectacular. Because of COVID, we just decided that we didn't want to risk flying there, possibly getting sick. We're both fully vaccinated, but we had no idea if things might go into lockdown again. Who knows, right? But we just didn't want to have to be there worrying about it. And I looked at him and I said, cancel the trip. We'll find something else to do. And we did. We're going to the Broadmoor in Colorado Springs. And it is a complete departure from the trip we were taking. We're going to be staying in a cabin at a place called Cloud Camp. I have no idea. It's, I'm not a zip liner. I'm not even a hiker. But we're going to a camp, and instead of, wearing pretty dresses and walking through the streets of Spain, I'm going to be wearing jeans and boots and plaid shirts probably. But hey, it'll be wonderful too. It's going to be an adventure. And the truth is, my life is an adventure because I choose to see it that way and make it into an adventure. And I found my own happiness. And I have a man who will go above and beyond, and I let him make me happy. I make a choice to be happy. But a man can see through your disappointment. And if you're not happy, he's going to keep seeing that he can't make you happy. And that is the kiss of death. When a man says that to you, it means that he's tried and he feels he's failed and it's not working and he feels emasculated. And if a man says that, it's usually because he's done trying. So, look at this, ladies, because it really is going to push good men away. They're going to just throw up their hands and quit. They'll give up. You got to learn how to find your own happiness and make a choice to be happy. Okay. I send you my love. I thank you again for being here. This is Lunch with Lisa. I also do Getting Inside the Right Male Mind. And you may have guessed that right male mind is my husband, Benjamin. He is the most wonderful man I have ever known in my life, the most wonderful person. He's the real deal, ladies. He's kind and compassionate and romantic and everything a woman could ever hope for. And he lives in his heart. and he shares his heart on Sunday mornings with me and with all of you. So please join us. That is at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And you can also look for my podcast wherever you get your podcasts. The podcast is called Dating Without Drama. All right. Love to you all, and I will see you soon. Bye, everybody.